this is why, like, for me, Catholics are important in the conversation, Orthodox are important in the conversation, because, we have so much progress we ought to make, and we have made. In the
Right.
last 400, 500 years of the
Right. If you
Reformation, we've
compare it
made
to
a
the
lot of
wars we
progress.
had, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even
No,
from
no, but I
that,
said in a good
right.
way. Like I don't say it like in a standoffish way. Like it's true that we have made a lot of progress in being able to have these conversations and yeah.
Right. Um, and so, like, that's what I mean is, like, for us to help understand one another, we should understand what we mean by the things we mean,
Right.
because the one word that's going to become really important as part of this conversation
Yeah.
is the word functional. So
Okay.
what I mean by that is, even though, like, let's say you and I have a disagreement,
Yeah.
okay? And the disagreement is, you know, if you should go left or I should go right, you know?
Yeah.
But we are both trying to arrive at the same location, right?
Yeah.
Functionally, we are doing the same thing, but we are disagreeing about the mode of how we're trying to do it, right? Does that make sense? So,
Yeah.
for example, the Catholics affirm something like transubstantiation and the real presence of Christ in the
Right.
Eucharist,
Yeah.
right? Believe it or not, me as a
Mhm.
Reformed Baptist affirm the real presence of Christ in the Eucharist.
Oh,
I
okay.
do,
I
right?
didn't know.
What we might disagree on is two things.
Okay.
One, whether only certain people can perform a Eucharist, right? Which is the
Oh.
Catholics say that only the Catholics can perform and a valid
Only the
Eucharist and all
priest,
of
right,
that.
and stuff, right? Yeah.
But let's say the other one, which is whether the literal communion has the flesh of Christ through transubstantiation. Versus me, I'm saying the literal communion has the spirit of Christ in
But it's not
the cross.
flesh, right?
It's not flesh. Let's say that he's a spiritual flesh, and you're saying he's a literal flesh. Okay,
Okay.
but functionally, we're both saying, hey, but this is both the dispensation of grace. This is both really important.
Yeah.
Whoever's not part of the church should not receive communion. Only people who are Christians should receive communion. This represents your unity with Christ. Like, functionally, we're saying the same thing.